Hello guys, this is Dark Fox Sage 2 and we are back with our new fanfic, which is what if Council decides to put Naruto in relationship with multiple Konoichi Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic, then please press the like button and please subscribe to the channel. It motivates me to upload more fanfic like these for you all. Now let's start the fanfiction. 12 years ago in the village of Konoha. It was a dark night in Konoha as most had gone to sleep except for a couple who were in the hospital. That couple was Namikaze Minato, and Uzumaki Kushina, who was delivering a baby in the hospital. Push, push, one of the doctors told Uzumaki Kushina as they were trying to deliver the baby. Meanwhile, Namikaze Minato was anxiously pacing through the hallways as he waiting for the results of the pregnancy. There was also Kakashi there, sitting in one of the chairs and watching his sensei pacing. Don't worry, Minato-sensei. I'm pretty sure everything will go well, Kakashi said in order to try and reassure his nervous sensei, which was a sight to behold as his sensei was never nervous. I know Kakashi, but I'm still nervous about all this. I mean, this is going to be our child, Minato replied. Suddenly, he felt a hand on his shoulder and turned to see his sensei, Jiraiya-sensei. I thought you left the village already, Minato asked, surprised at seeing the Sannin. I was, but then I went by to check on you guys and didn't see you at your house. I then heard from Sarutobi that you were at the hospital, and so I came here to see how's everything going, Jiraiya explained with a grin. Arigato Jiraiya-sensei. This means a lot to me and also Naruto since you will be his godfather, Minato replied with a smile. Then, Kakashi started to laugh, which got the attention of the student and teacher. And what's so funny, Kakashi? Minato asked. You actually named him after some ramen sensei? Kakashi asked while laughing. I told you it was a bad name, Jiraiya said to his student. What? I like ramen. Besides, I don't need your approval, Kakashi, and Aro Sennin, Minato said as he called the two by their nicknames. Damn it, why do you keep calling me that? I hope your son doesn't call me that, Jiraiya replied. Minato-sama, we're finished with the operation, but, the head doctor said as he came out of the surgery room. But what? Minato asked, and as he did, lightning struck outside. When the doctor did not respond, Minato grabbed him. But what? Minato said. It's your wife. She didn't make it through. I'm so sorry, the doctor said. This is a joke, right? You're joking, right? Minato yelled. I wish I was, but I am not. I'm terribly sorry, Hokage-sama, the doctor said. Here is the baby, sir, a female nurse said, and brought a blonde baby boy with blue eyes, crying. Minato smiled at the baby and then took it from the nurse and began cradling it. Naruto, Namikaze Naruto, that's your name, Minato began to say before tears started to fall from his eyes. Minato-sensei, Kakashi said as he saw the sad look on his sensei's face. Suddenly, an explosion occurred in the village and screams of villagers could be heard. What's going on? Minato asked as the hospital shook. Hokage-sama, a demon named Kyuubi is attacking the village. He's too powerful for us to hold back, a Junin said as he appeared in the hospital. Kyuubi, that demon, Minato asked. Sensei, what should we do? Kakashi asked. Minato looked at his son for a while before he got a serious look on his face and turned to face Jiraiya and Kakashi. I'll use that jutsu to seal the monster into my son. Until then, hold him off as long as you can while I get prepared, Minato said, shocking the two men. Are you insane? That jutsu is too dangerous and you don't even know if that child can hold the demon, Jiraiya replied. Besides, isn't it a bit too much to ask your son to become the container of the demon? Kakashi asked. And who else can I use? I can't put this burden on any child other than my own. Besides, who's better fit to hold the demon than the child of the Hokage? Minato said as he looked down at Naruto, who was giggling despite the danger outside the hospital. So you're really determined to go through with this, aren't you? Well then, I will not stop you. Just make sure you don't mess up, Yaki. Jiraiya grinned. Of course I won't, Aro Senin. Minato replied with a huge grin. Kakashi-san. Thank God you're here, one of the Junins on the battlefield said. Hokage-sama said to hold off the beast until he arrives. He will take care of everything. Kakashi said, and the Junin nodded. Yush, everything is set. Minato said as he then picked up his son, who now had a seal in his navel. You're gonna be a hero, Naruto. Yes you will, yes you will. Minato said as he jiggled his son a bit, making the said baby laugh. And I hope they are able to see you as the container, not the demon. Minato thought as he looked at his son with sad eyes and then headed off. Minato quickly arrived on the battlefield where there were many wounded lying down. I have to hurry. Kuchio's no jutsu, Minato said as he then performed the summoning and summoned a huge red frog. It's been a while, Minato. The frog said. Sorry for summoning you Gamabunta, but I need your help in sealing that. Minato said, pointing to the Kyuubi. Kyuubi? Che. What kind of mess did you guys get yourselves into this time? Gamabunta asked. I don't know, but right now, we have to seal it now before he destroys the entire village. Minato said as he got on top of the frog's head. Got it. Gamabunta said. What is this? A puny human and Gamabunta, the old relic of a frog. Kyuubi scoffed. You shouldn't underestimate us humans, Kyuubi. We can be quite resilient. Minato said as he then started to go through some seals. Whatever you do won't work, puny human. Kyuubi roared as it lunged toward Gamabunta and Minato. You better hurry, Minato. Even I am no match for that demon. Gamabunta said as he saw the demon head for them. I'm done. Now eat this. Shiki Fuin. Minato yelled, and then suddenly, a death god appeared behind him and the seal on Naruto activated. The Shinigami. Vakana, impossible. Are you actually going to seal me, the Kyuubi, in that child? Kyuubi roared as he felt his soul being pulled out. Of course I am. The only thing I have to pay for is my life. Minato said with a smirk. You've got guts, human, but if you think that this seal will hold me for long, then you're mistaken. As soon as I find a way out, I'll tear this entire village down, including that man. Kyuubi said before he was finally sealed into Naruto. It's done. Gwa, Minato began to say before feeling an immense pain in his heart and falling on the floor. He then looked at his son and smiled. I'm sorry, Naruto, but I guess I won't be watching you grow into the next Hokage. Take care, my son. Minato said as he touched his son's face and then went cold. The little baby Naruto giggled and crawled up to play with his father's face, but then, as if he could understand what had happened, began to cry when his father did not respond and the rain began to fall down. Naruto POV. My name is Uzumaki Naruto and I'm 13 years old. 12 years ago, the Yondaime Hokage defeated the Kyuubi in order to stop the demon fox from destroying Konoha. But strangely enough, ever since the day I was born, people hated me. They glared at me with eyes that could burn brighter than the sun, and were merciless, ruthless toward me, treating me like the lowest life form that ever existed, as if I was a demon. When they would attack me, they would say, "Take that, you vile demon." Or, "My husband is dead because of you. Do us a favor and just drop dead." Basically cursing my existence and wishing for my very death, as if I died, then their pain would vanish once and for all. But I never understood why they said all this to an 8-year-old boy like myself until one day, when Sarutobi Gigi told me everything. Flashback. Where is he? Where is Naruto? The Sandaime Hokage asked the nurses as he walked around the hospital, looking for the young boy. I mean the boy is in room 302, Hokage-sama. One of the nurses answered and caught herself before calling the boy, demon, as that I would incur the wrath of the mighty Hokage, and a pissed off Hokage was the last thing one would want to face. Thank you, miss, and I would advise next time to make sure that not even syllable of that word ever leave your mouth, understood? The Hokage said sternly, glaring at the young nurse, who could only nervously nod under the glare of the mighty Hokage. The Hokage then headed for the room, and when he arrived, opened the door to reveal a young boy with unruly blonde hair, blue eyes, shirtless, on a hospital bed, with his head down. Are you alright, Naruto-kun? The Hokage asked. Yes, I am, Sarutobi Oji-san. Naruto replied solemnly without even looking up at the Hokage. It looks like the Kyuubi healed him, since according to Kakashi, he was covered with lacerations and bruises all over his body. The Hokage noticed as he remembered the Anbu captain's report of the incident, as he was the one who brought Naruto to the hospital. Tell me something, Oji-san. Naruto started to say, taking the Hokage out of his thoughts. What is it, Naruto-kun? The Hokage asked, but then his eyes slightly widened as he saw tears coming from Naruto. Why do they treat me like this? Why do they hate me? Is it because of those pranks I pull? Whatever it is, I'll stop. Naruto said, nearly yelling as he looked at the Hokage with his tear-covered face. It's not about you did exactly. The Hokage said, sighing as he got himself in a tough situation. Could he really tell the kid the truth that he was actually the container for the Kyuubi kitsune that attacked the village 8 years old? Then what is it? Please, you have to tell me. I can't take it anymore. Every night, I fear I may get attacked by them, and even when I walk down the streets, I'm scared I might get killed. Please, you have to tell me. Naruto practically begged to the Hokage, pulling on the robes of the Hokage and crying on them. The Hokage was shocked by what the boy said and then sighed. He pats the boy on the head and then closes the door. I wished I did not have to tell you this now, but it looks like I have no choice. Naruto-kun, the reason why the villagers hate you is because you hold the Kyuubi kitsune. The Hokage revealed to the young boy. But that can't be, it was said that the Yondaime defeated the demon fox. Naruto replied in disbelief. That was a lie concocted by the council and myself in order to make sure that your generation or future generations would not know about the truth and hate you as well for being the container of the Kyuubi. The Hokage replied. So, am I truly the demon? Is that why they hate me? Naruto asked, trembling at the truth he learned. No, you are not. You are merely the container, the one that holds the demon fox at bay. The Hokage replied. But why me? Why did the Yondaime have to choose me? Naruto asked, not trembling anymore but still a bit shocked by all this. Because Naruto-kun, the Yondaime could not impose this on any children of other families. The only one he was willing to use is his own child. The Hokage answered sagely. What? I'm the Yondaime's son? Naruto asked, gaping and shocked at this latest revelation. Yes, you are. Your real name is Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto. Your father was Namikaze Minato and your mother was Uzumaki Kushina. Your mother had died when she had you, and Minato decided to use his own son for the kinjutsu since he could not put this burden on anyone else's family. He wanted you to grow as a hero, but obviously his plans were dashed away by the idiocy of the villagers. Sarutobi explained, saying the last part with a hint of venom in his voice, as he could not believe the people of his own villagers would have this much hatred for a little boy. The Hokage that I admired the most was my father. Oji-san, can you tell me more about my father and mother? Naruto asked. Of course. The Hokage smiles. End flashback. Sarutobi Oji-san told me a lot about my parents and how great people they were. That is when I decided to create a dream for myself, and one that I will do whatever it takes to achieve it, but first, I needed to get stronger. The academy that I was attending taught us basic jutsus like Bushin and Kawarini no Jutsu, but in order for me to achieve my goals, I needed to more than that. Normal POV. Knock knock. Come in. Sarutobi asked as he was filing paperwork. He looked up as the person entered the room and it was none other than Naruto, who had on a black shirt with the Whirlpool logo on the front, gray shorts, and blue shoes. Did you get yourselves some new clothes, Naruto-kun? Sarutobi asked as he saw what the young Namikaze was wearing. Yep. Used a henge to trick the owners into letting me buy some new clothes. It's ironic that they live in a ninja village and yet can't even recognize a henge. That's not good for our village if half of them are morons, Oji-san. Naruto said nonchalantly. That boy is becoming a smart ass more and more by the day, ever since I told him the stories of his father who ironically was also a smart ass as well. Sarutobi thought, smiling at the boy's antics. Anyway, I need your help, Oji-san. Naruto asked as he walked up to the Hokage. And what would that be, Naruto-kun? Sarutobi asked. I want you to teach me advanced ninjutsu, not that crap that we are learning from the academy. Naruto said bluntly. I see, but I'm sorry Naruto-kun, but I can't teach you. Sarutobi replied with a grin. Huh, and why is that? Don't tell me it's some stupid rule or something. Naruto asked. No, it's not, but it's just that it would be unfair if you learned from the Hokage himself while others of your age did not. As Hokage, I have to be fair to everyone and not just one person no matter how close I am to them, and besides, I already taught you Kage Bushin. But if you really do want to learn advanced ninjutsu, then I have someone in mind. Sarutobi said. Kakashi was standing in front of a stone in the cemetery of Konoha like he does every day. Of course, one would if they have lost as have many comrades as Kakashi had over the years. Would you be Hatake Kakashi? Naruto asked as he entered the cemetery. Yes, and you must be Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, right? Kakashi asked as he looked at the boy with both his eyes. How do you know about that? Naruto asked, surprised that someone knew his real full name. I was your father's student when he was a Junin. Kakashi replied. I see. This stone here, it's a stone of those killed in action, right? Would my father be there? Naruto asked as he looked at the stone. Actually, he would be buried over there next to your mother. Kakashi said and he walked up to where Minato and Kushina were buried. To-san, Ka-san. Naruto whispered. So kid, what did you want to talk to me about? I doubt you came all this way just for that. Kakashi asked. Oh yeah, I almost forget. Sarutobi Oji-san told me that you could train me in ninjutsu. Naruto said as he remembered why he came up to the silver-haired ninja. He calls the Hokage Oji-san. Kakashi thought as he heard the nickname Naruto had for the Hokage, so you want to learn advanced ninjutsu? But you're only in the academy. Kakashi replied. Yeah, but I have amazing chakra reserves and stamina, and also, I know this. Kage Bushin no Jutsu, Naruto said and then created 5 clones. Wow, that's amazing for someone who is still in the academy, but why do you want to learn advanced ninjutsu so badly? Kakashi asked the Namikaze. Because I want to surpass my father and become the greatest Hokage that ever lived. Naruto boasted. That's a huge goal, kid, considering your dad was known as the strongest Hokage ever. But if you want to outdo him so badly, then perhaps I can be of some help. Here, hold this, Kakashi said and then took out a white piece of paper and handed it to Naruto, who grabbed with his left hand. What the heck is that for? Naruto asked. I want you to channel your chakra into it. The reason for this is that it will help you determine what type of elemental ninjutsu you can perform. Kakashi answered. Elemental ninjutsu? You mean ninjutsu that are based on the elements of fire, wind, earth, water, and lightning, right? Naruto asked. Precisely. Kakashi replied. Okay, here I go. Naruto said and then channeled his chakra into the paper and then the paper split in two. You have an elemental affinity toward wind. Well, I don't know any wind ninjutsus myself personally and the Leaf Village is not known for wind ninjutsu, but I can help you with basic wind jutsu training. Kakashi said and then grabbed a leaf and gave it to Naruto. A leaf? You call that basic ninjutsu training? Naruto asked. Shut up and listen. The reason why I am giving you this leaf is for you to cut it with your wind chakra. By doing that, you'll be able to, Kakashi began to say only to be interrupted by Naruto. Done. Naruto said as he showed the two pieces of the leaf to Kakashi whose eyes bulged out. You finished already? What kind of academy student are you? Kakashi asked. What? Was this supposed to be hard? Naruto asked, confused at the Junin's reaction. For an academy student, yes it was supposed to be hard. Kakashi replied. Then it seems the standards have plummeted then. Anyway, thanks for the elemental affinity thingy since now I can come up with better jutsus. Naruto said as he started to walk away. That boy, he's just like you, Minato-sensei. Kakashi thought. Naruto was on his way back to his apartment when he suddenly heard a girl's screams. He rushed down and saw that a girl with pink hair was getting picked on by some girls who held her book in their hands and forced her to get it from them. Look at that girl, so weak, and such a huge forehead. One of the girls said. Please give me back my book. The pink-haired girl cried out. Or else what? You're going to try to attack us with your big forehead? Another of the girls asked. Medical Ninjutsu 101. Sounds like an interesting book. Naruto said as he was holding the book in his hands. How did you get that book? The leader of the girls asked. I grabbed it from your hand while you weren't looking, duh. I mean, did you expect me to ask or something? Naruto said nonchalantly. You've got some nerves, kid. The leader growled. So you can make coherent sentences after all. I thought you were just some big mentally challenged brute. Naruto said, causing the leader to flush in anger. Who is this boy? Sakura thought. Now leave or else. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. Naruto said and a horde of clones popped in, scaring the girls and making them leave. He smirked and then walked up to the girl and handed her the book. Thank you very much, Sakura said with a smile. Now that I look at it, your forehead is huge. Naruto said, causing the girl to flinch and her eyes to water until she felt a sensation on her forehead and saw that Naruto had kissed it, but it also looks very kissable. Naruto said with a wide grin, causing the girl to blush. By the way, did you get book from the library? Naruto asked. Why, yes I did. Actually, I was on my way there. Do you want to go with me? Sakura asked, her face now red as she still didn't recover from her daze. Sure, Naruto said with a foxy grin, causing Sakura to turn into color that was humanely impossible. Man, this trip was worth it. Now I have enough books to get started on my training. Arigato. What's your name? Naruto asked the girl as they returned from the library. Haruno Sakura. Sakura replied. Arigato, Sakura-chan. Naruto grinned. No problem and thank you for saving me from those bullies. Sakura said but then trailed off as she did not know his name either. Oh yeah I forgot, I never introduced myself. The name's Namikaze Naruto. Naruto said sheepishly. Well, this is where I live. I guess I'll see you some other time. Sakura said as she arrived on the doorsteps of her home. Then I'll see you tomorrow at the academy then. Naruto said. Wait, you go to the academy? Sakura asked. Of course I do. I just don't show up unless what we're learning is interesting, which is only about 5% of the time. Naruto answered. Oh, well then I'll see you whenever you come by. Sakura said, and then opened the door to her house and closed it. For her, I might just show up in class tomorrow. Naruto thought before heading off. Okay class, calm down. It's time for roll call, so please say something when I say your name, Iruka said, and then started to go down the list. Namikaze Naruto, Iruka said. Here, Naruto said, and everyone turned to see the young Namikaze lounging on his seat. You actually came to class. Oh, thank you, Kami. What a miracle. Iruka said as he got down on his knees and fake tears came out of his eyes, causing everyone in the classroom to sweat drop. Don't get in a bunch. I only came here as a favor for someone. Naruto said. Did he come to the academy for me? Sakura asked as she looked up from her book. Naruto, you've finally come back. A voice said, and everyone turned to see Sasuke, who was grinning like crazy at Naruto and cracking his knuckles. Oh, hey Sasuke, Naruto said, greeting the young Uchiha. Don't hate me. You know what time it is, right? Sasuke asked. Oh yeah, it's that time. Naruto said as he understood what the Uchiha meant. What do they mean by that time? A brown-haired boy asked Shikamaru. It's basically an eternal combat between Sasuke and Naruto. The premise is simple. If Sasuke can punch Naruto just once, then he wins and makes Naruto do his homework. If Sasuke can't punch Naruto in one try, then he has to buy Naruto ramen. Shikamaru explained. That doesn't seem so bad. The brown-haired boy said. Not bad. Are you out of your mind, you fool? Choji yelled. What's so bad about the consequences for either one? The brown-haired boy asked, confused. It's not bad if Sasuke wins, but if he loses, it's bad for him. You see, Naruto has an insatiable appetite for ramen, which is 100 times worse than my hunger for anything. Choji said, making the boy gulp since Choji's appetite was legendary among the academy. And on top of that, it has been reported that Naruto eats on average 10 bowls of ramen each day. Now multiply that by the amount of money they each cost, and this is how much Sasuke has to spend every time he loses, and so far, he's lost 10 times in a row. Shikamaru added on. Oh my god, that's insane. But if it costs that much, then why doesn't he just quit? The brown-haired boy then asked. Because of Sasuke's pride in nature. Sasuke cannot admit defeat no matter what, and on top of that, Sasuke loves to fight anyone and thus cannot bring himself to refuse such an opportunity. Shikamaru said. So in reality, Naruto is using Sasuke's hunger for fighting to his own advantage. How cruel. The brown-haired boy said. Kiba, do you have the commentary ready? Choji asked. Yes, I do, and as of right now, Sasuke is tensing up, ready to strike while Naruto is seating comfortably in his chair, awaiting Sasuke's attack. Ha! Sasuke throws his book bag at Naruto, who catches, but wait a minute. That was only a distraction to allow Sasuke to get in close for the kill. Will he actually pull it off? Kiba asked as everyone was on edge. Morita, got you. Sasuke yelled as he threw a right hook and smirked as he connected, only for Naruto to turn into. Iruka-sensei. Sasuke gasped. What happened? Iruka asked, dazed and nearly knocked out from the blow. Ouch. It seems Naruto pulled a Kawarini at the last minute, switching places with Iruka-sensei. Another tough loss for Sasuke. Will he ever recover from another crushing defeat? Kiba commentated. Urusei. Sasuke yelled at Kiba. Nice work there, Sasuke. Naruto asked as he was on Iruka's desk. I hate you. Sasuke growled. That's not what you said last night in bed, Sasuke-chan. Naruto smirked, making the yaoi fangirls blush and squeal. I'll rip your balls off. Sasuke roared, only to be held back by Kiba, Choji, and Shikamaru. Later, Naruto and Sasuke are eating ramen at Ichiraku Ramen. Ah, come on Sasuke. You're the one who agreed to this, and besides, you can consider this as a part of your shinobi training. Naruto said to the extremely pissed Uchiha, who literally had an aura of rage around him, scaring bystanders. By the way, you should cool down because you're scaring Ayame-chan and Tyuki-san. Naruto said. Akuma devil. Ayame and her father whispered, extremely scared of the Uchiha. You're right about that, and besides, it's much more fun than what we learn in class, but be warned, I will get that hit if it's the last thing I do before graduating. Sasuke said, smirking as he cooled down. Whatever you say, Naruto replied. See you whenever you come back to class, Naruto. Sasuke said as he headed off. Naruto finished his meal and turned around to leave, only to bump into Sakura, and falling down, on top of her, causing the girl to blush furiously. Well, this is an interesting position we're in, huh, Sakura-chan? Naruto grinned, and then helped her up get off the ground. Gomen Nasai, I should have watched where I was going, Sakura said as she got her books. Did you want to see me for something? Naruto asked. Well, I was wondering if you wanted to come to the library with me. I was going to review what we've learned in class today and also get more books. Sakura asked, blushing. I didn't really pay attention to what Iruka-sensei said since I already knew about it, but I wouldn't mind going with you, Sakura-chan. Naruto said with a grin, and then the two headed off. 4 years later, present time. Normal POV. Alright class, today is the Genin exam and this year's exam will be on Bushin no Jutsu. When I call your name, please come to the room next door so that Iruka can begin your test. Mizuki, one of the teachers of the class, instructed. Man, this is going to be such a troublesome test. Hey Naruto, what do you think? Shikamaru asked the young blonde who now was wearing a white jacket with a red spiral on the back in red flames, dark orange shirt, black shorts, black shoes, and silver fingerless gloves with white spirals on them. I think the best thing for you to do is worry about yourself, Shikamaru. I mean, for God's sake, the ground itself can move more than you can in a month. Naruto said. Damn that guy and his smart mouth. I'm so depressed, Shikamaru said as he sat down in the corner. It's okay, Shikamaru. It's all okay, Choji said, comforting his friend. Naruto, Sasuke whispered as he was dressed in a blue shirt with a Uchiha fan on the back, white shorts, bandages on his feet and blue shoes. He also had blood on his knuckles. You almost missed the test, Sasuke, and what's up with the blood on your knuckles? Iruka asked. Oh, it's from a group of 10 bullies I beat up on the way here. They bumped into me and pissed me off, Sasuke explained. You beat the crap out of people for bumping into you. Iruka thought with a sweat drop behind his head. Could today finally be the day Sasuke lands a punch on Naruto? Kiba said as his dog barked. Here I come, Naruto, Sasuke said and then poofed up, revealing him to be a Kage Bushin. Shit, I forgot he learned KB from me during our training sessions. Naruto thought. I win this time, Sasuke said as he was right behind Naruto and struck him with a roundhouse kick, only for Naruto to poof away. So Naruto was a clone too. Everyone exclaimed. Good thing I thought of creating a clone as backup just in case. Well, it looks like you've missed your last chance, Sasuke. Naruto said as he entered the classroom and then sat down next to Sakura. You really shouldn't do that to Sasuke, Naruto-kun, Sakura said. But it's so much fun, Sakura-chan. Naruto replied with a grin. I'm such a loser, Sasuke said, heavily depressed as he banged his head on his desk multiple times. You tried your best, Sasuke-kun, Hinata thought as she looked at the Uchiha heir. Next, Namikaze Naruto, Mizuki called out and Naruto stood up and headed for the room where Iruka was waiting for him. Okay Naruto, the Hokage asked me to give you a different test. Iruka said. Oh really? Naruto asked as he raised his eyebrow. So instead of the usual test, we'll be tested for each jutsu style. You pass all 3 and you receive your headband, okay. Iruka explained. No prob. Naruto nodded. First up is Genjutsu. All you have to do is show me a Genjutsu technique. Iruka says. Naruto went through a number of seals and then in an instant, Iruka finds himself falling from the sky. Whoa! Kai! Kai! Iruka yelled out and then cancels the genjutsu. That was amazing, Naruto. Alright, next up is ninjutsu, which should be easier since it is your strongest style. Iruka says after he recovered from the genjutsu. Naruto does a seal and then vanishes in the wind and was instantly behind Iruka. So, how do you like my K's Shunshin no Jutsu, wind body flicker technique, Iruka-sensei? Naruto asked with a slight grin. Not only did he master the Shunshin no Jutsu but he also create an elemental version of it. I knew Naruto was extremely talented in ninjutsu but not this talented. Iruka thought. He then sighed and turned around to meet Naruto. Very good, Naruto. Now, the last one is taijutsu and all you have to do is fight me so I can see how well your taijutsu is. Iruka explained. Naruto nodded and while Iruka got into a traditional fighting stance, Naruto just put his hands in his pocket, confusing Iruka. Are you sure you want to stand like that, Naruto? Iruka asked, grinning. I'm sure, sensei. Naruto replied with a somewhat cold, causing Iruka to flinch. Iruka then charges toward Naruto and starts to throw a left punch but then was about to switch to a right punch when suddenly, Naruto grabbed his right arm to flip him into the air and into the ground. What happened? Naruto, how did you do that? Iruka asked, confused at what his student did. It's simple, Iruka-sensei. I saw your right arm slightly move, indicating that you were going to attack with it instead and your first attack was a feint. Despite the speed and strength difference between the two of us, my ability to deduce your attack enabled me to react faster than you and thus counter you. Naruto explained, as if it wasn't such a big deal. I forgot that not only is Naruto a smart ass, he's also very intelligent. Iruka thought. Well, I don't think I need to continue this test then. As of now, you are now a genin, Naruto. Iruka says as he gets back up. He then gets one of the headbands from the table in the room, and then gives it to Naruto, who wraps it around his left arm. After the exam, you want to go to Ichiraku and get some ramen, Naruto? Iruka asked. Absolutely. Naruto answered with foxy grin. Later, Iruka and Naruto are at Ichiraku ramen shop, waiting for their ramen. I'm so happy you became a genin, Naruto-kun. The ramen shop's daughter known as Ayame said with a smile. Thank you, Ayame-chan. It means a lot to me coming from you. Naruto replied with a beautiful smile, causing Ayame to blush. He may not look like it but Naruto is a true charmer. If it wasn't for his sarcastic wit and bluntness toward people, he would have a bigger fan club than Uchiha Sasuke. Iruka thought as he sweat dropped from his former student's charms. Here you go, 2 miso ramen, on the house thanks to Naruto's graduation. Tsuki, the owner of the ramen shop, sighed as he hands the ramen to the two men. You didn't have to do that, sir. Besides, you are running a business and you need all the money you can get. Naruto protested, not wanting to get the ramen for free. Don't worry about it, consider this as a favor for one of my best customers. Tsuki replied. Thank you very much, Oji-san. Naruto said humbly and then proceed to eat the ramen. Iruka, Iruka, a person yelled. When Iruka turned around, he saw a brown-haired Chunin heading toward him. What is it? Iruka asked surprised. It's Mizuki. He stole the forbidden scrolls from the Hokage tower. The Chunin answered frantically, shocking both Naruto and Iruka. Alright, I'll be right there. Iruka said and the Chunin nodded before heading off. Iruka-sensei, let me come with you. Naruto asked. I appreciate the help Naruto but this is a matter beyond your hands. I will not allow a genin to be mixed in these things. Iruka said, rejecting the offer. You must let me come with you. Mizuki, by stealing from the Hokage, has betrayed the code of this village and thus needs to be punished. If I am to become Hokage, Then I need to prove myself, and finding Mizuki is the best way to do so as a ninja of this village. Naruto said with a tone of one that will not take no for an answer. Naruto, Uruka says, shocked at the vigor his usually calm student displayed, and then sighed. All right Naruto, you can come with me. Uruka finally said, defeated. The two then head off in search of Mizuki, who meanwhile was running in the forest. Yes, finally the scroll is mine. With this, I'll be able to gain immense power and crush all those who stand in my way. Ha, 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 ha. Mizuki laughed as he continued to run through the forest before he is then kicked in the face by Uruka, who intercepted him along with Naruto. Hey Mizuki, here's a tip. Laughing to yourself out loud will make it easier to find you, and on top of that, it makes you look retarded. Naruto said with a smirk. You're not going anywhere, Mizuki. Uruka said. Uruka. Mizuki says, but then sees Naruto nearby, and growled, Naruto. It was no secret that Mizuki loathed Naruto for carrying the demon fox and tried to fail him multiple times, but no matter how many times he tried, he just could not rattle the young man, and that irritated Mizuki even more. Great job figuring out this shortcut, Naruto. Uruka grinned and gave his thumbs up to his student. It was nothing, sensei. Just the most logical choice. Naruto said deadpanned, and you, what kind of dumbass actually steals from the Hokage himself? Geez, no wonder I never learned anything from you, Mizuki-sensei. Naruto said, saying the sensei part sarcastically. Urusai, Yaki, Mizuki yelled. Now Mizuki, drop the scrolls now and come with us. Uruka asked the blue-haired Chunin. Never, and besides, I can't drop them since I'm not here. Mizuki grinned and then poofed away. A Bushin, Naruto and Uruka both exclaimed, shocked. He must have created one when you hit him so he can fool us and hide away. Naruto said. But where did he go? Uruka asked as the two looked around. This is bad. This forest allows him perfect hiding place, and if I remember, there was a huge shuriken on that Bushin's back, which means he does have one as well and can use this forest as a way to throw it without being detected. Naruto analyzed. He then suddenly felt something coming his way and turned around to see a large shuriken heading his way, and thus ducked to avoid it. That was close. Naruto whispered. Naruto, get out of the way. Another one is heading your way. Uruka yelled, and Naruto turned his head and saw another coming his way. Another one. But he only has one. Unless, he must have created a replication of it and threw the first one and then threw the second one as soon as I dodged the first one, thus putting me a horrible position to defend myself. Naruto thought. I won't be able to dodge it. Is this truly the end for me? Am I going to die without reaching my goals? Naruto said mentally, closed his eyes, and braced himself for the shuriken, but the blow never came, and when he opened his eyes, he saw Uruka hunched over him with a shuriken on his back. No, Uruka-sensei. Naruto says in disbelief and shock at what just happened. You must think what I just did was stupid, wasn't it? That it wasn't the most logical choice, huh? But you have to understand something, Naruto. The reason I did this was because I believe in you. Uruka began to explain. Believe in me? Naruto repeated. Yes, I believe in you, Naruto. I believe that you will become Hokage because I see one in you, and as the older generation, have to protect the dreams of the next generation no matter what the cost. And also, you've become the little brother I never had, and what kind of older brother would I be if I let my Otudo die without even reaching his dreams? Uruka says with a smile and coughed some blood. How touching, Uruka. Too bad you did it for the demon boy. Mizuki grinned as he came out from his hiding place. Pathetic really, that he decided to sacrifice his life for someone as worthless as you, but then again, this is what happens when you are a sentimental fool. Mizuki grinned darkly. How dare you hurt Uruka-sensei? Naruto growled as he put Iruka's body on the ground and then pulled out the shuriken from the teacher's back and threw it aside. There are two types of people I hate, Mizuki. People that treat others unfairly and traitors, and you Mizuki are the latter. Naruto says, glaring at the teacher with a cold glare. Oh, and, Mizuki asked with a cocky tone. My dream, no ambition, is to become Hokage and also revive the Namikaze clan as its leader, and to do that, I have to prove myself as a ninja, and I will do so by crushing you, Mizuki, until you no longer retain a human form. Naruto shouted in pure anger. Quit talking big, demon. There's no way you can beat me. Mizuki laughed. That's what you think, Mizuki, but you're wrong. I will defeat you, Naruto replied. Then bring it on, Mizuki hollered. Kage Bushin no Jutsu, Naruto whispered, and then does a handseal and over 100 clones appear. What's going on? Mizuki asked, frightened at the number of clones. Here's your punishment, Mizuki. Naruto says, and then he sends his clones all on Mizuki, who ends up being beaten to a pulp. Iruka-sensei, Iruka-sensei. Iruka heard as he woke up and saw Naruto next to him. Naruto, you're alright? Iruka asked his student. I'm alright, sensei, though I wouldn't say the same for you, you're still wounded from that shuriken. Naruto replied. It's okay, but what about Mizuki? Iruka asked as he wondered about the traitor. He's been incapacitated for right now. Naruto answered, and Iruka looked up to Naruto's direction and saw the pile of flesh that was Mizuki and winced and made a mental note to never anger the young blonde. Naruto, it looks like you will have a bright future ahead of you. Iruka thought as he looked at Naruto. Alright, sensei, let's go, we have to bring the scroll back to Gigi and get you to the hospital. Naruto says as he puts Iruka on his shoulders. No matter what, I'm very proud of you, Naruto. Iruka says. Arigato, Iruka-sensei. Naruto says, a little embarrassed, and then adds mentally, and thank you for believing in me. Ring, ring, ring. The alarm sounded off and Naruto shut the alarm off. Well, time to start the day. I really hope nothing stupid happens. Naruto said as he got off his bed, revealing a muscular chest with scars on it as he was only dressed in gray boxers. He goes and takes a shower and then puts on his clothes and made a cereal dish. He then makes a small prayer and eats it, and afterwards heads out with his headband on his right arm. He continues to walk until he arrives at the clearing where the stone that was created for heroes and those killed in action was located. However, he was not the only there, as Hatake Kakashi was there as well. Yo Kakashi, what's up? Naruto said as he greeted the man. Yo Naruto, came here to see your parents? Kakashi asked. Yep, pretty much, Naruto said as he walked up to his father and mother's graves and closed his eyes. Otosan, Kasan, I'm finally a genin, and soon I will meet my team, and be one step sooner to my goals. I will make you proud, don't worry. Naruto said mentally. He then opened his eyes and then started to leave for the academy, and as he did, Kakashi was looking at him go. I wonder how interesting it will be to teach Sensei's son. Kakashi thought as he reminisced about his meeting with the Hokage. Flashback. So this is Naruto's files, huh? Kakashi said as he was looking through the files of Naruto that the Hokage gave him. Yes, they are. From when you met him 4 years ago, you may have noticed how he is exactly like his father, correct? The Hokage asked as he was smoking from his pipe. Yeah, he's a genius and a smart ass like his dad, alright. Kakashi replied as he remembered how Minato used to act. And not only that, but like his father, he possessed the same wind affinity and has a high talent for ninjutsu, even being able to perform a Kei's Shunshin no Jutsu. And finally, he sent Mizuki to the hospital in a coma, the Hokage explained, the last part with a smile as he was proud of the young blonde's achievements. I knew about the Mizuki incident, but I did not know he already knew Shunshin no Jutsu and even made an elemental version of it. He is truly like his father when it comes to ninjutsu. Kakashi said, quite surprised at the blonde, but then that should not be a surprise considering that the child had already learned the basic exercises of wind affinity at age 8. So, I decided to put him on your team so that way you can help him, and I also decided to put the Uchiha and Haruno on his team as well. The Hokage said. The Uchiha and Haruno, are you trying to make my team a well-rounded team? Kakashi asks. You can say that. With Naruto's high aptitude in ninjutsu, Sasuke's in taijutsu and Sakura's in genjutsu, they can not only learn from another very well but pretty much can be a force to be reckoned with. Also, it has been reported to me by Iruka that all three of them are very good friends, especially Sasuke and Naruto who are rivals as well. The Hokage explained. This looks like it's going to be fun. Kakashi says with a smile that was shown on his mask. End flashback. Okay Ka-san, I'm leaving now to find out who my team is. I'll be back later this afternoon. Sakura said as she then closed the door and then headed off. On the way, she met Ino, her best friend who was leaving her house as well. So Sakura, ready for our big day? Ino asked. I don't know, I did review the entire curriculum of our entire 4-year program so I should be ready for the team meetings today. Sakura answered, making Ino sweat drop at her answer and look at her quizzically. What, is something wrong Ino-chan? Sakura asked. You do realize that we are only going to meet our teams, right Sakura? Ino asked. I know but I just wanted to be ready for anything. Sakura replied sheepishly. Just admit that you just wanted to read for the heck of it, bookworm. Ino grinned. I guess so. Sakura replied, scratching the back of her head but then flinched when Ino got real close to her. What's going on? Sakura asked. So Sakura, when are you and Naruto going to go to second base? Ino asked with a smirk. Ino, we're not like that, Sakura replied with a reddened face. Oh please, everyone in the whole school knows you guys love each other and have been dating for 4 years now. Ino said. And what about you, huh? Aren't you dating someone right now? Sakura asked, trying to change the subject. Please girl, Yamanaka Ino is Konoha's #1 single woman and tends to stay that way for a long time. Now back to you and Naruto. Ino said as she flipped the subject back to Sakura and Naruto. Ino. Sakura moaned as she knew her friend would not let her off the hook that easily. Uchiha Sasuke put on his blue shirt with the Uchiha logo on the back, white shorts, blue shoes, headband, brown backpack and fingerless gloves before heading out of his apartment. Nice job on becoming a genin, Sasuke. The voice of a man said behind Sasuke. Why are you here? I thought you were going around, gathering information and techniques. Sasuke replied without ever turning his head around to look at the man. Don't be that cold, Sasuke. Can't someone congratulate their pupil? The man asked. Whatever, I'm going, Sasuke said smirking as he headed off. That kid, no respect for his elders. The man said, chuckling. Naruto entered the classroom where most of his classmates were already staying in their seats. He then walked to far right row of the class and sat on an empty chair. Few minutes, Sasuke entered the classroom and sat down next to Naruto and immediately, everyone began to tense up. How cute. You're sitting next to me even though you can't hit me anymore. Naruto grinned. I hate you, Sasuke said, glaring at the boy. That's not what you said during our passionate love-making last night, Sasuke Uke. Naruto chuckled, causing the yaoi fangirls to once again squeal with hearts in their eyes. Shut up Naruto and you girls mind your own business. Sasuke roared. Aw come on, lighten up Sasuke. In a few minutes, we're going to go our teams so we can begin our days at Genin's. The least you could do is become nicer. Naruto said. Like hell I will. Just you like you, I have a reputation to uphold. Sasuke said. What do you mean like me and what reputation are you talking about? Naruto asked. Just like you have your reputation for being a smart ass, I have my reputation for being a badass and badasses are not nice. Sasuke growled. So that's your reputation? I thought your reputation was that of a repressed emo. Naruto said with a grin. Just ignore what he said, just ignore it. Sasuke thought as he was telling him so in order to control his temper. Ohio, Sakura-chan, Naruto said as he saw Sakura come into the classroom along with Ino. Hello Naruto-kun. Sakura said with a small blush as she sat next to Naruto. Oh, hi Sasuke. Sakura said waving to the Uchiha heir who simply nodded back at her. Alright class. First off, I want to congratulate you for graduating and becoming genins. From this day on, you are official ninjas of this village and will need to go on missions to prove yourself to this village. Every year, when children become genins, they are put in teams of 3 and the same applies to this year as well. I will thus read off your name and the name of your teammates and your Junin instructor who you will meet later today. Uruka explained to the classroom. Team 1 will be Akira Sanada, Yuri Hashigawa, Jin Kazama. Team 2, Uruka said as he started to read off the team. Team 7 will be composed of, wow, I can't believe what I'm seeing but anyway. Team 7 will be composed of Namikaze Naruto, Haruno Sakura, and Uchiha Sasuke. Your Junin sensei will be Hatake Kakashi. Uruka said, causing a shock to nearly everyone as everyone in the classroom knew Naruto and Sasuke were tops in the class and Sakura was near the tops among the kunoichi. Must be the old man's doing, definitely gotta be it, not that I mind though. Naruto thought as he grinned. I don't mind being with those two, but I don't want to hold them back, especially Naruto-kun. Sakura said in her mind. Don't worry about it, we won't hold them back, Shanaru. Inner Sakura said to comfort her other self. I could care less who is in my team as long as I get the chance to go on missions and get stronger though with these two, I won't be held back though I wish she was on my team. Sasuke also contemplated in his mind. Team 8 will be composed of Inuzuka Kiba, Hyuga Hinata and Abarame Shino. Your Junin instructor is Yuhi Kurenai. Team 10 will be composed of Nara Shikamaru, Yamanaka Ino, and Akamichi Choji. Your Junin instructor is Sarutobi Asuma. Uruka said and suddenly, a groan could be heard from Ino. Damn it, why do I have to be stuck with these two useless buffoons? Ino yelled out and pointed to both teammates. That's because the teams were arranged this way and that's that, Yamanaka. So I suggest you be quiet and get used to them. Uruka answered sternly, shutting the girl down. Life is not fair, Ino said, slumped on her desk. Like I'm going to enjoy this any better myself. Your voice can probably wake up the dead, and having to deal with this for a long while is going to be so troublesome. Shikamaru countered. What did you just say, you lazy ass? Ino roared. Ino, Uruka said, causing the girl to shut up and Shikamaru to snicker while Choji was eating his chips. As the hours went by, the Junin instructors came to pick up their teams, until there was only one team left, Team 7, who were not pleased with their sensei being late. In fact, Sasuke was about to kill someone. Damn it, how long does it take for a Junin to get here? Sasuke yelled angrily. He then turned to Naruto and had a manic look in his face. Naruto, Sasuke began to say. Don't even think about it Sasuke. I'm not going to fight you. Naruto said, crashing down on the Uchiha's plans. That's it, I'm going to eat now. Sasuke said as he then took out a bento box from his book bag and started to eat from it. Sasuke, that bento box looks so cute. Sakura said as she noticed his well-made box. Yeah Sasuke. Who made it for you, your girlfriend? Naruto snickered but then both Sakura and Naruto were surprised when Sasuke nearly choked on his food upon hearing the word girlfriend, and even blushed. Okay Sasuke, what's her name? Naruto asked grinning as he wanted to hear the juicy info. Naruto-kun, I don't think it's right to ask him such a question. Sakura said. Ah come on, Sakura-chan. What's wrong with me, as a teammate no less, wanting to know the name of Sasuke's girlfriend? Naruto replied. Shut up, Naruto. I'm not telling you anything. Sasuke said. You're no fun. Naruto pouted. Anyway, this sensei better come quick or else I'm shoving a kunai up his ass. Naruto said. I'm sure he has a good explanation to why he is late anyway. Sakura said. That damn sensei better get his ass here right now or he's dead, Shanaru. Inner Sakura, on the other hand, said. He better or else he's toast. Sasuke growled as he returned to his seat. Achoo. Someone must be talking about me, hopefully a pretty lady, Kakashi said as he sneezed on his way toward the classroom. He opens the door, and was about to greet his team but then was met by three young genins glaring at him and if looks could kill, Kakashi would be dead by now. Oh. Okay. My name is Hitaki Kakashi and I'm your Junin sensei. Sorry if I'm late but I had to help an old lady escape from a burning building. Kakashi said as he introduced himself. Really? You had 3 hours and 20 minutes to come up with an excuse and this is the best you could come up. My god, you suck. Not only do you come late, you can't even come up with a decent excuse and what's worse, it wasn't even funny. What are we going to do with you Kakashi-sensei? Naruto said and then shook his head in disappointment. Alright then, team, meet me on the roof now. Kakashi said, ignoring Naruto's comment and then poofs away. The genins then walked up all the way to the roof where their sensei was waiting for them. Alright team, we're first going to start this meeting with introductions. Kakashi says. Introductions? Sakura repeated, confused. Yeah, introductions. You basically tell me your likes, dislikes, hobbies, and goals. Kakashi explained. Well, since you were late and we know shit about you, how about you start first sensei? Sasuke asked with a smirk. Looks like we got a potty mouth here. Anyway, my name is Hitaki Kakashi. My likes, dislikes, and hobbies are none of your business, and my goals are, also none of your business. Kakashi said. Wow, that was the most incredible speech I have ever heard in my entire life. Nothing sort of amazing, Naruto said as he even clapped his hands a couple of times. Note to self, go to a therapist in order to prepare for a barrage of sarcastic insults at the hands of a mini version of your sensei. Kakashi thought. Alright, let's start with you Blondie. Kakashi said. That was actually clever, Kakashi-sensei. There is hope for you after all. Naruto said, causing his sensei to glare at him before he resumed, my full name is Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto. My likes are training, ramen, Sakura-chan, my parents, and pissing people off. My dislikes are traitors, people that treat others unfairly, and evil. My hobbies are to create new ninjutsu techniques, read, and coming up with new ways to piss people off. My goals, my ambition is to become the strongest Hokage to ever live, create a new clan for my family, and become Konoha's most legendary smartass. Naruto said, finishing with a grin. We're doomed. Kakashi thought. Alright, you're next Blossom. Kakashi says to Sakura. My name is Haruno Sakura. My likes are learning about medicine, plants, and Naruto-kun, Sakura says and slightly looks at Naruto before continuing, my dislikes are unfair people, bullies. My hobbies are growing new plants, read books, and helping out with the kids at the orphanage. My goal is to become a strong kunoichi and medic nin. Sakura finished. It seems she has a crush on our Namikaze but at least she shows a lot more focus on her kunoichi training than most girls her age does Kakashi thought. Alright, you're last, Uchiha. Kakashi said to Sasuke. My name is Uchiha Sasuke. My likes are fighting and learning new fighting styles. My dislikes are annoying people, weaklings. My hobby is training, beating the shit out of people that piss me off, Sasuke said, only to be interrupted by Naruto. Which is basically 97 of all of Konoha. Naruto said. Shut up, Naruto. Anyway, my ambition is to become the strongest Uchiha that ever lived and also revive my clan. Sasuke finished. Very interesting, though underneath it all, one can still see his need for revenge, but it's nice to see he has not allowed it completely rule his life. Kakashi said mentally. Alright guys, thank you for your introductions. Now, what are we going to do next is going lots of fun. Kakashi grinned. What do you mean by fun, sensei? Sakura asked a little worried. What I mean is that we are going to have ourselves a little training and survival exercise, just the four of us. Kakashi revealed. But we already did something like this back in the academy, sensei. Sakura said. On top of that, why is this necessary when you already know our capabilities from our academy reports? Naruto added. And besides, shouldn't we be starting on mission instead of wasting on some stupid exercises? Sasuke asked. The reason for this is that these exercises you took in the academy were only child's play compared to this one. This time, you will be up against me, a Junin, in the real world. And also, out of the 27 graduates, only 9 will become Genins while the others are sent back, thus giving this entire test a 66 dropout rate. Kakashi explained grimly, leaving the Genins shocked. That's insane, Sakura said. Now you got me interested, sensei. Sasuke grinned. So I will determine if you are worthy or not of becoming ninjas tomorrow at the training grounds. Bring your ninja equipment and meet at 5 a.m. Kakashi instructed and was about to leave when. Bullshit. Naruto blurted out. What do you mean by that, Naruto? Kakashi asked. There's no way in hell you're showing up at 5 a.m. I mean, you couldn't even come to a 12 o'clock meeting on time. Naruto said. Just come at 5 a.m., I'll be on time, I promise. Kakashi sighed before leaving. I know he's lying for sure, but still, this is the chance I've been waiting for. Naruto thought. I can't let the others down. I have to pass this test so I can finally become a Kunoichi and prove that I'm worth something to her. Sakura thought. There's no way I'm failing this test. Sasuke thought as he shook with anticipation. Later, we see Naruto walking down the street heading for his apartment when he suddenly stopped. Then, a young boy with brown hair in a ponytail and wearing a yellow shirt, beige pants, blue scarf, and a headgear came out of the fence as he was hiding in a cloak. Holy crap, it's a midget. Oh no, it's just Konohamaru. Naruto said in mock surprise. As witty as ever, Naruto Aniki. Konohamaru said. Spill it, kid, what do you want now? Naruto asked. I want you to teach that Oroic no Jutsu technique you used on my old man the other day. Konohamaru exclaimed. Listen, kid, I don't have time to teach you such a stupid technique. Naruto said as he remembered that Konohamaru had stumbled upon him using that technique. The Hokage had wanted him to take a serious pose for his picture of identification, but Naruto refused and in the end performed the technique to disorient the perverted Hokage only for Konohamaru to walk into it. Why do you want to learn it anyway? Naruto asked. Because you were able to defeat the Hokage with it easily. With that technique, I'll be able to finally beat my old man. Konohamaru answered. You beat the Hokage? Naruto asked before he started to laugh. Yeah, that'll happen, when hell freezes over. Naruto said as he continued to laugh. I'm serious. I am going to beat that old man. Konohamaru said. Alright, don't get all pissy on me. Come with me, I'll teach you the jutsu. Naruto said and Konohamaru quickly nodded and walked along with him. The two then finally stopped in front of a woman's only hot springs. Naruto Aniki, why are we stopping in front of a hot springs for women only? Konohamaru asked. You'll see. Come on, Naruto said, and the young boy followed. They were able to sneak past the register and entered one of the hot springs, catching the women by surprise. What the heck do you think you're doing, perverts? One of the women asked. We're conducting research for a technique, and thus we need one of you to show us your body. We can memorize down important information. Naruto said bluntly. No way. Get out of here now. The woman screamed, enraged. Listen, ladies, the faster we do this, the faster we can leave, and how about this? As a bonus, I'll even give you guys a massage for free. Naruto said. Wow, Naruto and Ikki. I have never seen things like this before. Konohamaru said with his face all red. Yeah, and I can't believe how much money I made with these massages, and also the phone numbers I got. Naruto said, smirking. So, am I going to learn it now? Konohamaru asked. Yep, Naruto said as they then stopped in a training field. Now all you have to do is transform into a woman using what you have seen in the hot springs, okay? Naruto said. Okay. Henge. Konohamaru said. Where is he? Where is young Master Konohamaru? Ebisu thought as he was looking for Konohamaru everywhere. I knew I should have never went peeping while watching over him. He's probably with that smart-mouthed nine-tails brat. Ebisu thought. It's official, Konohamaru. You have no talent whatsoever as a ninja. Naruto said, looking bored as the boy had yet to create a perfect transformation. It's not my fault. Every time I try to do it, I lose my concentration and mess up. Konohamaru complained. Look, I'll show you once, okay? Naruto said before transforming into a young blonde girl with clouds covering her whisker marks. He then undid the jutsu. See? Not so hard, is it? Naruto said. There you are, Konohamaru. Ebisu said as he arrived, and it seems you're with that dangerous boy here. Ebisu added. Who the hell are you? Naruto asked. My name is Ebisu and I'm an elite Junin teacher. I was assigned by the Hokage himself to train his honorable grandson. Ebisu said with a hint of pride. Stop calling me that, and besides, I'm training with Naruto and Ikki. Konohamaru said. And what can that boy possibly teach you that I can't? Ebisu asked with a smirk. This technique. Oroic no Jutsu, Sexy no Jutsu. Konohamaru said and transformed into a young woman with brown hair and was totally uncovered by smoke. Such a foolish technique will not work against me. Ebisu said, smirking. No way. Why didn't it work? Konohamaru asked as he undid the jutsu. Step aside and let me show you how it's done, kid. Naruto said. He then created a mass amount of shadow clones, and then he and all of the clones transformed into their sexy no jutsu forms. We call it the harem no jutsu. So Ebisu-san, what do you think? Naruto and his clones all said as they winked at him and then started to rub on him. Ebisu lost control and then was knocked high into the sky by a massive nosebleed. The Narutos grinned and then Naruto undid all of his clones and returned to normal. That was so awesome, Naruto and Ikki. Can you teach me that too? Konohamaru asked. Sorry kid, I gotta go. Besides, how the heck are you gonna get stronger if you keep asking other people to teach you jutsus? Naruto asked. What do you mean by that? Konohamaru asked. What I mean is that if you want to make your own path, you have to do it on your own. No one is going to help you get stronger except for you and you only. So stop asking people to teach you jutsus all the time and invent your own jutsus. Naruto said. Okay, Naruto and Ikki, I'll do that from now on and create my own awesome jutsus. Konohamaru said. Naruto waved to the kid and headed back to his apartment. Sunset turned into night as everyone went to sleep except for 3 people. 324 quintillion 325 quadrillion 326 trillion 327 billion 328 million 329,330. Sasuke said as he had completed 331 handed push-ups. He then wiped the sweat off his forehead and drank from a bottle of water before looking at a picture of his family, and his face started to sadden. Don't worry, I'll make things right, Sasuke said. All right, I finally completed all of my books, Sakura said as she took off her glasses and breathed a sigh of relief. I'll be able to pass this test now, Sakura said with a smile. Kunais, check. Shurikens, check. Jutsu scrolls, check. I think I'll be ready for this test, Naruto said. Sakura, Naruto, and Sasuke all arrive at the training ground the next day nearly half asleep. Hey, they all said to each other. 4 hours later, they were nearly sleeping when suddenly, Kakashi appeared. Ohio Mina, hi everyone, Kakashi said as he arrived on the grounds. You're late, they all shouted at him. Sorry, but an old lady needed help from a group of bandits that were attacking her, and Kakashi began to say but then stopped as his students were glaring at him and not buying his lie, causing him to sweat drop. Okay, moving on. The first test will be a training test. The objective is simple, all you have to do is fight with everything you got. If you can last with me for 10 minutes, you will pass the test. Simple to understand, right? Kakashi smiled. Simple to understand, but not simple to accomplish. I can feel it, he's definitely not your average Junin, Naruto thought. If there are no questions, let's begin. Uchiha Sasuke, you're up, Kakashi said and the Uchiha grinned.